switch gears back to the New Orleans Saints. Sharief Ishaq, WDSU, joins us on Tuesdays, does now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharief, how are we feeling?
I'm honored to be talking to a Netflix legend.
Wow. I mean, those 11 seconds total over 3 episodes really changed my life financially. Purchased 6 secondary homes, an RV, and private jet as well. So we're really moving up after those Netflix appearances. I appreciate you pointing that out.
Well, anything for the Palmer family. I'm back. I'm back from heaven. It was heavenly out there. Came back yesterday, and it was. I wish I didn't have to come back, but you know what? It was a great experience. I just love being out on the West Coast.
What did you learn from the Saints out there on the West Coast?
You want to start with the game, or you want to start with practice? I'll let you choose.
I want to start with the most important thing you learned.
The most important thing I learned is that Tyler Shuck is better in live action than he is in a practice setting.
Okay.
I think that the wheels maybe have been turning a little bit too much for him in practice. When he got out there into that stadium, I felt like, all right, he sees the game better. He's moving faster. He's processing things better. Like I know he threw a pick six, stared the guy down. That cornerback was on it all the way, but at least he was able to learn from that mistake and come back and hose a 54-yard touchdown pass to Mason Tipton. So I felt like that 2-minute offense that he ran before the end of the half was awesome. He threw a couple slants, dump offs, but he made some good decisions on that drive, and I felt like, look, the potential is there with him. I like what he did. Did not like that second sack he took because I think he held it too long. He could have run it, moved up in the pocket and ran it a little bit, got maybe 7 or 8 yards, and avoided taking that hit on his knee because he had somewhat of his knee bandaged after the game. He said he was bruised, but he said he was going to be all right. So he doesn't need to take those hits at that tall frame of his. Just to get hit the knees at that height, it kind of hurts a little bit, I'm sure. So he said somebody landed on him. But other than that, I felt like he ran the offense so much better than Spencer Rattler. Maybe they called it differently for him. Different players are out there. He was running with the second and third team. Spencer ran in with the first team for the most part. I thought Spencer was decisive and good on the first drive, but after that, things kind of fell apart. But I learned a lot more watching the game after watching it again on TV than in person because I was frustrated in person. I was like, let's get this over with. I'm not a big preseason guy. It was bad, but there were some other positives to take away from that game as well.
So you talked about Shough being better in the game than practice. We can't watch practice. So, and you said it's a little bit maybe sped up or the wheels are turning a little bit more quickly. When you watch him make mistakes in practice, is he inaccurate? Is he holding onto the ball too long? Like, what looked better in the game?
I feel like in practice, I feel like he's just making bad decisions. Like maybe the wheels are just like, they're just not turning at the right pace. He flushes himself out of the pocket and tries to make one of those college throws, 3/4 sidearm into like a tough window, and it doesn't really work out well. Yeah, that pick six was, pretty much one-on-one coverage. It was just a good play, bad throw, whatever you want to say. But I feel like he kind of like took everything bad from practice and made it better during the game. It's just like, I think he like processed the game a little bit better whenever he got onto the field at SoFi Stadium, because sometimes he just throws up balls that you're not supposed to throw up. I mean, you're just lofting balls in practice. I know you learn from your mistake and do it in practice, not in the game, which he did. So it obviously it worked. So it seems like he's taking the learning from the practice and the mistakes and translating it better onto the field. I know it's a one sample size, 6 series, 29 snaps, but that's what I gathered. I feel like he's processing the game better live than sometimes in practice.
You mentioned Rattler kind of falling apart after the first drive. What'd you think of his play in totality?
It was okay. It was okay to me. I mean, I think he handled the drives well. He didn't really make any mistakes. Just like Shough, though, he held that ball a little too long when he got sacked.
Yeah.
He knows he should have probably flushed out of the pocket or thrown it away. 7 completions for 53 yards. Not pretty. Not great. I mean, I know McCoy wasn't playing. I know your receivers outside of Brandon Cooks weren't playing. It was okay. It was okay. I mean, that's not really much more to say other than okay. I mean, that first drive, he did make good decisions. And even whenever they got the ball on a 17-yard line after that muff punt, okay decisions. And he didn't force the ball into a tight window into the end zone and force the turnover. He ran it, tried to score, got hit at the 1-2 yard line. So it was okay, Hunt. I mean, it truly was. It was nothing spectacular. I mean, to me, they're close right now. They're very, very close.
My beef was with the offensive line. I did not think they
Yeah.
gave the running backs any room. I did not think they gave the quarterbacks enough time to properly evaluate the situation and make plays. What did you make of the entirety of the offensive line? You had the first team, you had the injuries, you had second teamers. What'd you think?
Honestly, I really thought, like, I can echo what Ross Jackson said, that Kelvin Banks and Trevor Penning played pretty well to me. I thought those two guys played well. After that, it was a disaster. The second, third, Radin struggled. He absolutely struggled when he was in the game. It's not a good look, because if Trevor Penning is actually hurt, they need some backup offensive linemen. Who do you count on? Will Clapp's going to be out for probably the year with his injury. So, yeah, it wasn't pretty. 61 yards rushing, and I think half of it came from Spencer Rattler, and you have 20, 21, 22 yards from your running backs, because your offensive line is getting absolutely punched in the face, even if it's your backups who you need to see something from. It's not good. I really did not think it was that great for pretty much most of the offensive line.
For the wide receivers beyond Olave and Shaheed, is anyone separating in any way at this point?
I thought, like, just based on watching the game, I thought Cedric Wilson had a solid game, was able to create some separation on his routes, and was able to shake free and get open a few times for both quarterbacks. No, Bub Means left the game. We have video of him, like, with crutches on and a boot, so that's not good for him.
No.
So that's one injury. Offensive line and receivers, there's the two areas they cannot afford to have any kind of injuries, and here we are. One game in, you're dealing with two offensive linemen and a receiver. So they're going to have to figure it out in both those positions, especially receiver. You've got to give whoever the starting quarterback's going to be some type of weapons. And as of right now, it isn't really that pretty. It got to be out. Mason Tipton he's certainly stepping up. He's translating it from, training camp practices to the field. That's what they wanted to see last year. It was like the training camp superstar, and it didn't work out on the field. Feels like it's getting a little bit better this year for him. So you throw Mason Tipton in there in that mix, when it comes to guys who are kind of creating some form of separation.
Anything on defense that stood out to you?
It was tough, man. I thought Isaiah Stallbird did well. Fadil Diggs, Quincy Riley did all right to me. I think even Danny Stutzman had some flashes, and Christian Boyd had that nice pressure and was close to being a safety. But Hunt, you're getting destroyed by Trey Lance on the ground. We've seen that story year in and year out. No matter the coach, the Saints struggle to contain a guy who can run, who can move, who can break the pocket. And no, pretty much it was a struggle. It was a struggle, for a good part of that game when he was playing.
So let's talk about the week to come as they get ready for another game this weekend against Jacksonville. What's got to be worked on this week, and how do you expect them to handle the quarterbacks coming up this weekend?
I am interested to see if they let Spencer Rattler start with every single one and don't go as many series, and they let Shough come back in and play with the ones too for a little bit. So he did say last week before the game that he wasn't 100% committed to switching the quarterbacks and starting Shough this week. But man, if it goes, just kind of the way that the reps have been taken, it feels like he should get the start. But I thought the same thing with scrimmage last week on Friday. Rattler got to run with the one like he did the previous Sunday. So I'm interested to see if Tyler Shuck will actually get the start. He should. It feels like they game planned last week to let him do a little bit more. So my gut says that Shuck should go with the ones and maybe let Rattler have a series with the ones and then go from there. So that's one thing you got to look at. And then, the injuries. Are they going to actually be able to hold this joint practice with the Rams on Thursday without having to suffer some more injuries? That's another thing that you want to pay close attention to.
I'm curious when you think they're going to name a starting quarterback for the first game of the season opener.
It would have to be after this game. It feels like it's a game, unless both quarterbacks make it difficult or one guy separates himself. And let's just say both guys don't have the greatest of games, and they say, all right, well, I guess we need to see what happens with the final game. But my gut tells me it's going to be after this game. I feel like it's going to be after this game. I think they're going to want to set up Tyler Shuck to have a good game with the ones and see where he goes from there. If it's a good game and they say, wow, this is why we drafted him 40th overall, he's separating from Rattler a little bit, we're going to go with Tyler. We talked about it in the press box, a bunch of us, the other day during the game. If they're both kind of the same, just go with Tyler Shuck because you drafted him in the second round. He's a second-round pick. You spent the 40th overall pick on him, so just go with Shuck. So I would lean with the whole Tyler Shuck situation and let him be the quarterback. So I would say my gut tells me after this game.
We'll see. Should be very, very interesting. You be in the Dome?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll talk about it next week.
All right, Hunt.
Sharief Ishaq, WDSU, down in New Orleans with us talking Saints every week. I'm interested to see when they make the determination. It doesn't matter that much. Like, I think both guys are going to continue to get some reps, and I'm not that concerned with the guy being 100% ready to go, if that's even a thing, for the first game of the season. I want them to make the determination based on who they think gives the future the best opportunity. And if they haven't figured that out today, then you don't need to make a call. If you figured it out on Sunday, make that call. If you don't, you need to see another preseason game and you want to put those guys out there for another 3 quarters, that's fine with me. Like, I'm not in a hurry. I want the decision to be the right one. So we'll see how that materializes for the black and gold coming up this weekend against Jacksonville. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.